that. All right, let's go ahead and go political.
We're on the air. We're doing political, everybody.
Okay.
So if you hate that part, you better run for the hills now.
No, don't run. Stick around and disagree with me. Please,
all right, now, we were just talking about the possibility of a third-party system in the United States. And what is the most viable candidate for a third party?
Most viable candidate?
Yeah, I mean...
Okay, according to CPAC,
political
their number
movement.
one choice. Okay, the most viable political movement is the Tea Party.
Right.
But the thing is, the Tea Party is actually based historically on the Boston Tea Party, and it's not actually a political party. Although because it's being co-opted,
it's not organized into a political party yet.
Because it's being co-opted by people who want to gain that groundswell of popularity.
Right.
People like I would say that are less conservative and more moderate in the Republican Party are going to try to capture that base by spouting a few conservative platitudes and things like that, and they're going to try to capitalize on it. I don't think the Tea Party should be a third party, and I don't think it needs a leader. One of the big arguments that's been coming out is who's going to lead the Tea Parties.
Isn't this Tea Party the old? Isn't this the old moral majority? Aren't these the old Reagan Republicans just in another wrapper?
It is. It absolutely is. They're limited government Reagan Republicans, the silent majority that Nixon spoke of. This is the Tea Party. They're not silent.
The reason they're being so successful, and we discussed this before, the problem the Republicans had, or actually the mistake the Democrats made, was they kept telling the Republicans, you need to come more over towards the center. You need to be less conservative. That's why you're losing. When actually it was the abandonment of their conservative principles. Look, if you're going to be Democrat light, well, screw that. I'll just go ahead and vote for a Democrat.
There's no difference.
You have given me no reason not to vote for that Democrat over there, and they control everything. And so,
and in CPAC
I want political influence.
At the Conservative Political Action Committee, conference committee, whatever, this weekend, Glenn Beck spoke to them and said, I haven't seen that come to Jesus moment from the Republicans.
Yeah, I heard that.
Where you say, I am sorry for what I've done. I was
I haven't seen it either.
And nobody's seen it. But they want to co-opt the Tea Parties. And my argument is, I don't think there should be a leader to the Tea Party. I don't think there should be one person.
Yeah.
I think the Tea Parties should act as the moral barometer of the Republican Party.
But didn't they make Ron Paul the consensus leader of the
at the CPAC, they did.
That shows you the core of the Tea Party movement affecting about a third of those Republicans.
Yeah.
The other ones, the Mitt Romney types, and
they were
Sarah Palin, they're still very conservative.
Right, they were, and the vote was pretty much. I mean, all the Ron Paul people.
Huckabee's disappearing, though, isn't he?
Yes, he's
Huckabee is just disappearing. He's fading.
But he's becoming more of a media figure, anyway.
Sure.
And so Ron Paul takes a third of the vote because a third of those guys are going to be, terminal palsies.
Yeah.
And then you get the other 2/3 are going to be split between your Mitt Romneys, your Sarah Palins, who's the Tim Pawlenty's.
Yeah. How often do they have to learn this lesson?
They don't.
Ronald Reagan became president of the United States, enormous power, very powerful, simply because he drew that distinction. He said, I am not like these people at all.
Exactly.
This is what I believe in. This is what our country is.
Bold
and you
colors.
know what? It's because Democrats are a glass half empty. Republicans are a glass half full kind of group.
Right.
I mean, that's kind of the way I see it. Democrats are a bunch of malcontents. Republicans, so over the last 15 years, Republicans have had no backbone.
None.
And the Democrats have had no shame.
And the Democrats have walked all over.
But at least they stick up for what they believe in.
Sure. No matter how.
Give them credit for that.
Yeah.
No matter how idiotic it is, but
or
at
no
least
matter what the polls say about.
Sure. No matter what the polls say, they're still willing to go to bat for it.
They are, and they will go, and they will tell you that you're wrong. That guy who asked Nancy Pelosi, "Where does the Constitution guarantee health care?" You know what her answer was?
What?
Are you kidding me?
Yeah.
No, ma'am, I'm not kidding. Are you kidding me? As in, you're an idiot, I know what I'm going to do for your country, and you better shut up and let it happen. And unfortunately, that's the direction the Democratic Party is moving in.
And that's why the Democrats aren't getting anything done.
That's why the Democrats aren't getting anything done.
Right. And they are going to get hammered.
They've owned the House and they've owned the House and the Senate for how long? And they own the presidency now. For how long? And they've not gotten anything done
conservative leadership right now.
They can't get their shit together.
It's true. Conservative leadership right now has just stepped into the most amazing opportunity. You could win an election almost anywhere in the country right now with an R after your name, but you are going to dominate if you follow the Tea Party platform. If you stick to the Tea Party
If
message,
you can win in Massachusetts,
actually, and you know what?
Barbara Boxer's hanging on for dear life in San Francisco.
I know, in San Francisco, John.
Yeah.
And I think this election is going to be the election where you see the people run on the normal guy platform. Because America has become fed up. We let the Republicans run things for 6 years under George Bush. We turned it over to the Democrats for 2 years under George Bush.
Republicans did a lot of harm under George Bush. They did a lot of harm.
So the Republicans screwed it up. We give it to the Democrats. They screwed it up. If you
But
come
they
out
did
and
it
campaign
so
and say,
fast.
oh, they're so good at it.
They did it so
Oh, yeah,
fast.
the Republicans definitely took a marathon approach, and the Democrats, they sprinted towards the finish line.
Yeah.
But if you come out and say, I'm a normal guy, I have no background in politics, you might sail into office on that inexperience alone. It used to be a weakness.
With that being said, I think the strategy, a lot of people have conjecture about what Sarah Palin's doing. Sarah Palin is the forward observer. They're putting Sarah Palin out there as the leader. She's leading the way because the Republicans or whoever, Tea Party, whoever, has figured it out. Because the Democrats groomed this guy, Barack Obama.
Mm-hmm.
They groomed him. They knew they were going to put him up. They were going to put him over. The conservative side.
Obama was groomed for this.
Right.
Oh, he was.
The conservative side of the aisle has figured it out. They know now that they've got to groom their own young guy to come in there and do his thing. And Palin's out there being a cheerleader. She's doing her thing. She is not. I really
don't see her running for president.
No, I don't see her.
No, this is the what is this? The 22nd of
February.
February.
Yes.
Write this down. 22nd of February 2010. We're going to have a guy come out in the next 2 years or year who's young, who's fresh, who's going to give...
Like a Marco Rubio?
Well, could be...
Jendell?
Jendell was...
I don't know if Jendell's fresh enough, but he's young enough.
Jendell was in the running, but he's had some image problems because he doesn't really come over well on camera, that kind of thing.
He doesn't play.
Right.
He's an audio guy.
Right.
And very much a written word guy.
Right.
Jendell is.
You mark my words, they're going to come out with some young stud, like you said, that's far removed from politics, just kind of comes out of nowhere and starts making sense, and people are going to be ready
Scott
for it.
Brown.
Scott Brown might be it, but Scott Brown might be too liberal. He might. I mean, if you look at Scott Brown's voting record, he's pretty liberal, and he supports John McCain, and John McCain is not popular in the Republican Party or the Conservatives right now.
Well,
now, Sarah Palin supported John McCain, but let's face it, she's better than John
Jim
Kerry.
DeMint?
Yeah, Jim DeMint.
Not young enough?
I don't think Jim DeMint's young enough. I think Jim DeMint has been a stalwart of the Senate. And
There's
I don't
somebody out there.
I think Jim DeMint looks at a cabinet position if the
I think we
Conservatives
should
move
look
into
to-
office in
I think
2020.
DeMint's a
look to
soldier.
governors.
DeMint's a soldier.
Yeah.
He's like a hard sergeant, man.
He's your guy that knows how to get things done on the conservative side of the aisle in Washington, and he hasn't backed down from anything.
Right.
Jim DeMint gets what he wants done without giving up a single principle, and he's proof that it can be done.
Right.
So he might not be young enough and media savvy enough, and let's face it,
See,
the
that's the
media will
problem.
tear him apart.
You won't get many Democrats swinging over to a guy with principles.
No, it's true, you won't.
I've heard them say, I don't want a guy with principles.
Very few Republicans will swing over to a guy with principles.
Yeah,
either,
no
so.
kidding.
Are we running long on the segment?
You can take another 30 seconds
30 seconds? Okay.
to a minute.
Then let's just move into another segment because I got.
I will do one more segment. We'll let you have your little political thing.
Yeah.
I will be right back with colbertradio.com.